les mercredis, mon pantalon est plein de pommes de terre.
Quelqu'un a volé toutes mes chaussettes gauches.
Grimhaven Community Radio!
Good evening and welcome to Grimhaven Community Radio, broadcasting from the observation deck of Grimhaven Tower.
News. The news. The headlines today. Lake Embouchure is to be drained shortly in an attempt to trace the whereabouts of the 9% of the population who went missing last Wednesday evening. Police divers say they are likely to get very wet during the operation.
The Grimhaven Mobile Public Toilet Facility will be visiting the Market Square next Wednesday. Book now to avoid disappointment.
This year's Maypole dance has been cancelled due to the stepping up of local obscenity laws.
This week's word is flugelhorn.
Scallopalot, high-speed cordless scallop shell opener. The horrific injuries associated with high-speed manual scallop shell shucking are a thing of the past with the Scallopalot.
This gadget is essential for those emergency dinner parties or commemorative meals to mark occasions such as forgotten birthdays or the unexpected release of a loved one from prison. Shuck up to 74 scallops per minute with ease, freeing up time to stuff your bird, restock your broiler and check the alignment of your centerpiece.
The Scallopalot is made from 86% recycled, available only from GAC at the special offer price of $49.99 or 3 easy payments of $49.99 while stocks last. For all our listeners who are a bit clueless in the kitchen, who is on hand but our very own Suki Nostril?
Hello, listeners. Suki Nostril here, your guide through the mysteries of the modern kitchen. Today we're going to make a warming soup to comfort you on those long, cold, dark July evenings by the guano processing plant. Obviously, it doesn't affect me because I live somewhere nice, but for all you unfortunates out there, destined to pass your worthless lives in the shadows of its oppressive and noxious chimneys, here is something to lift your spirits for a while, a very short while. And rest assured, this recipe won't rupture your purse. When making cannon fire soup, it is essential to use fresh ingredients. Take 3 heritage carrots. Make sure they are lively and still wriggling when you put them in the blender.
No, Suki, please, Suki.
Next, some adorable little florets of broccoli. Pop, in they go. Now, I cannot emphasise strongly enough that you must use a good quality stock. Binky, be a darling and pass me the gourmand of stock, would you?
I say I'm terribly sorry, Suki.
Thank you, Binky. Now, in with the stock. Now's time to administer the lentils. Careful as you add them. Spilt lentils can turn up in the most unexpected places.
There he is.
And don't forget your seasoning. Salt, pepper, herbs. I would recommend basil, dill, some rosemary. And if you're feeling a bit saucy, pop in a dash of cardamom. Oh, yes. Now, while the soup is on a slow simmer, let me just remind you that my latest novel, Come and Taste My Love, is now out in all good bookshops. If your consommé is looking a little lank, don't be afraid to add some potatoes to thicken the broth. But make sure you blend past the globule stage. While we leave the soup to simmer and glower, let's create an amuse-bouche, that with which we can entertain our guests. I appreciate that it is extremely unlikely that you will have any friends around for dinner, but it is nice to have something to aspire to. This small dish of nibbles I like to call Rabbit's Nest Surprise. For this you will need some twigs, some grit and a large tub of Marmite. Saw the twigs into bite-sized lengths, Mix in a handful of pea gravel and a large dollop of Marmite and stir, stir and stir again. There can't be enough stirring, darlings. To really add a touch of class, sprinkle some desiccated kelp from Grimhaven Beach. I find the seaweed growing closest to the sewerage outfall has the strongest flavour.
Dear God.
Make sure you present this in your best bowl, as appearance is important. The food may taste awful, but if it looks nice, no one will complain. So, now that your soup is ready, serve in a good quality porcelain bowl. Add a generous dash of double cream, some tangy cheddar, a pinch of nutmeg and a small garland of freshly foraged wild garlic leaves, and voila!
53, 19, 18, 47, 65, 53, 19, 18, 47, 65.
Ongoing power cuts getting you down? Bring buckets or other food containers and fill up at the Grimhaven public electricity hoses. Pricing per kilowatt pint is a secret.
Thank you. And now over to the music desk.
Hello. Few bands evoke such a powerful emotional response, usually pure horror, from those who have seen them play as Sit on My Brisket. The Brisket's uncompromising thrash speed funk metal is as disarming as it is brutal. Most songs hover around the 225 beats per minute tempo and don't generally last more than 11 minutes due to the excessive loss of fluids that would occur past this point. Nevertheless, the stage often needs hosing down after every 3 or 4 songs to maintain some sort of level of hygiene. Drummer Ulf Blatt plays sitting not on a stool, but on a pile of freshly chilled telephone directories to prevent catastrophic buttock failure that would otherwise be caused by the pace and violence of his playing. Benny and Denny Endelbaum fight over who is lead guitarist during most songs. By contrast, reserved bassist Jensen Plink calmly goes about his bottom end duties, always with his back to the audience and the drummer. At the end of a typical Brisket gig, scuffles often break out between the band and members of the audience, as everyone tries to secure a place in one of the ambulances waiting outside.
Who's that in the mirror?
And now, Thought for the Day with Dr. Denzel Beanbag.
Thank you. Do ghosts break wind?
And that was Thought for the Day with Dr. Denzel Beanbag.
Cough syrup, January to January. Venus has temporarily stopped. You may observe a flock of geese flying past a little bit too slowly, or perhaps a saloon car. Sea-coloured toilet roll for exactly what it is. Did you remember to turn off the gas?
The Dockside Disease Club meets every Friday in the old Bawdy House on Dunge Lane. This week's topic is listeria. Samples and sick notes will be provided. Now it's time for the weather.
Grimhaven's once picturesque hamlet of Lower Menge has recently been absorbed by rising sea levels. This is officially being blamed on people who aren't from around here and an excessive number of incorrectly sized Labradors.
And now a poem by Carol Peyote,
in which a son avenges the death of a father. Mother, let me wear my scarf. But son, it is not cold outside. Mother, you do not understand. I do, my son, the mother lied. She fetched it from the washing pile and placed it calmly round his neck, but she refused to meet his eyes and tried to hide her thoughts of death. The sun was hot, the sun was fierce, and still he wore it all day long, to test his mother and her love, to see if she would right her wrong. He wore it through their evening meal, refused to take it off in bed. He wore it all through story time, but didn't hear a word she said. He started to unpick the threads, and in his head he hatched a plan to give his mother one whole week and one more chance to understand. He wore a scarf of fraying yarn in red to symbolise his thoughts. At school he'd heard of Orestes, had learned the lessons that it taught. But his mother was from a different age, a time when Greek just wasn't hip. She knew of Hamlet and Macbeth, but she'd never read the ancient myths. To have a son in modern days whose education spans all time is like giving birth to the devil's spawn, whose heart is ruled by an active mind. He was sad his father wasn't there to see the scarf around her neck, to congratulate the clever plan of a son who sought to avenge his death. "Mother, wear my red scarf. But son, it is too hot. Mother, you do not understand. Here, let me tie the knot."
Grimhaven Community Radio is written and performed by Alex Brunsdon, JP Paradise, Tracey Poole and Burt. This is a Grimhaven Community Radio production 2026, all copyright held by the authors. Any resemblance to actual places or people, living or dead, is purely coincidental. After all, no one in their right minds goes to Grimhaven by choice. Thank you for listening, like and subscribe.